So you're going to see the oil revenue going towards increasing welfare, being spent on getting a world-class education to all of our people, improving their access and the quality of healthcare for Guyanese, because we believe that's sustainable spending.
Vice President Bharrat Jagdeo at the International Energy Conference 2022 at the Marriott Hotel on Wednesday. The conference, which was officially opened on Tuesday, is aimed at boosting investments to foster local social and economic development. The conference is touted to be a staple event on the Guyanese calendar and has attracted the participation of a number of foreign and local companies, as well as the presence of heads of state and foreign delegates. But notwithstanding the wealth of the country's oil and gas sector and the government's vision of improving same, it was made pellucid by the Vice President that Guyana will not be solely dependent on this sector.
We've seen how countries that receive windfall, they splurge on the current budget, and then when the windfall goes, they can't sustain it. And we're committed to that.
This, he said, will ensure that Guyanese would not have to endure the hardships associated with the dreaded Dutch disease. Dutch disease is an economic term for the negative consequences that can arise from a spike in the value of a nation's currency. It is primarily associated with the new discovery or exploitation of a valuable natural resource and the unexpected repercussions that such a discovery can have on the overall economy of a nation. The president said the oil revenues will be used to invest in projects which will benefit all Guyanese. While the country's oil revenue, $126.7 billion, has been used to support this year's budget, the Vice President said that the money will be utilized to support capital expenditures rather than recurrent expenditures. Recurrent expenditures in goods and services is expenditure which does not result in the creation or acquisition of fixed assets, while the capital expenditure are funds used by a company to acquire, upgrade, and maintain physical assets such as property. Additionally, another way the government says it intends to assure a sustainable future is by focusing on climate change and expanding its low-carbon development strategy to achieve the vision of a green economy. Meanwhile, Minister of Natural Resources President Bharrat called on foreign investors to put money into the country's non-oil sector. Like the Vice President, he believes that Guyana will not become dependent on the oil and gas sector.
As we all know it, the oil and gas sector, it's not labor intensive, it is more capital intensive. And most of our peoples are trained to work in the traditional sectors. Those are the sectors that create majority of the employment in our country, especially agriculture, tourism, logging, and mining.
He shared the government's plan to develop the energy corridor.
As Guyana intends to pipe gas to shore from the Liza field for power generation. Ladies and gentlemen, one of our biggest problems in Guyana for decades has been power generation.
A memorandum of understanding was signed between Guyana, Brazil, and Suriname in January 2022 to explore the development of an energy corridor linking the respective states. This year's International Energy Conference and exhibition is being observed under the theme Charting a Sustainable Future and is slated to conclude on Friday. For the HDP News, Kendell Richmond.